Welcome to the Beginner Bass Series. Now we're going to talk about how to tune your bass. To start, I'm going to name the strings on my bass from the biggest to the smallest. So the biggest string is my E. The next smaller string is my A. The next one is the D. And the smallest string is the G. And my bass is terribly out of tune, so I'm going to demonstrate 4 methods in which you can use to tune your bass. The 4 methods are the tuner built into my amp, which has these really cool LEDs. The second method is this little tuner clipped onto the headstock of my bass. The third method is a tuning app on my phone. And the fourth method is going to be tuning by ear, which I'm going to use this keyboard sitting next to me to demonstrate. So first off, let's go ahead and tune the E string. Now my amp has these little LEDs which let me know which note I'm playing. So right now it's saying I'm playing a D, which means that particular string is really out of tune. So I'm going to bring it up until the E lights up. And it has 2 green LEDs which let me know that it's either flat or sharp. So the corresponding tuning peg I use for the E is the one that's closest to me. That's this one. And that configuration may be a little different on your bass, but for this particular bass, it's the one that's closest to me. So I'm going to tighten that up until the 2 green LEDs light up to let me know the E is in tune. There we go. Oh, almost there, right there. So now my E string is in tune. So the second method, which is this little tuner that's clipped on the end of my headstock, I'm going to go ahead and play the A. What's that saying? It's saying that A is really flat because it has a dial saying it's either flat or sharp. So I'm going to tighten up the second tuning peg on my bass until that little LED display turns green and the needle lines up in the center. So we're getting there, we're pretty close. There we go. Green means we're good to go. So that's my A string. So the third method is this little app I have on my phone. And with that app, I'm going to tune the D string. So as you can see, the needle on the app is saying that it's really flat. So I'm going to tighten up the third tuning peg on my bass until that lines up in the center. And the little green light lights up to let me know we're good to go. Getting closer. There we go. So now my D string's in tune. So the fourth method that I mentioned is going to be using your ears and your listening skills. So if we were to tune this whole bass on the piano itself, it would have to match up with notes on the piano. I'm going to go ahead and name those on the piano right now. So here we have the E. And that matches up with the biggest string on my bass, which is E. And if I go to the next note, which is A, that's a fourth away, E, F, G, A. So here's my E, F, G, A. Let's go line up. The second string on my bass, that one's already been tuned. A, B, C, D. The third string on my bass, that one's been tuned as well. So now let's go ahead and tune the G. D, E, F, G. And that's horribly out of tune. And the way that I can hear that is because there's a secondary dissonance frequency. And I play the G, and on the piano, hear that? Wah, 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 wah. If I tighten up the G, if you notice that dissonance frequency gets slower. And I want it to keep getting slower until eventually it goes away. That means the two notes are going to be totally in sync with each other. There we go. You notice that dissonance frequency went away. So if I were to do that with all the strings, I would be listening for the dissonance, and I would try to make that dissonance go away until the two notes were in sync. And so that takes a little bit of practice because after all, you're using your ear and you're not using some sort of electronics or something that's going to tell you if the two notes are in tune. So that's, in a nutshell, those are the 4 ways in which you can tune your bass. Now let's play some music.